We're walking away from our allies, Germany, Great Britain, and France. We're walking away from a deal that was agreed to by all parties, including the Iranians. We're walking away from the International Atomic Energy Agency, which has been monitoring this agreement and says that there have been no violations of the agreement. We're beginning a process of roiling the oil markets in the Middle East because of the uncertainty which is going to now hang over this region as we get deeper into this controversy. So I don't see a plan, I don't see a strategy. I see a campaign promise which is going to be fulfilled. I understand that, but the consequences here are quite serious, not just for peace in the Middle East, but also long-term for the economy, because the oil issue is going to loom larger as each day, week, and month goes by.
That said, Senator, the oil price did decline today. There are plenty of critics who say President Obama pursued this to shore up his legacy, and that was kind of the main impetus for a deal which handed billions of dollars to the Iranians that they then spent in places like Syria sowing conflict. So was that the outcome that the international community was really looking for? Was that a sign this deal was working?
Well, you know, the Congress, including me, voted for additional sanctions authority for the president to take action where Iran is moving into Syria, where Iran is developing ballistic missiles, where Iran is violating human rights norms. So we already gave him the sanctions authority which he needs, and we did it on a bipartisan basis if he feels, as he is saying, that there are violations, there are activities that are malign that the Iranians are engaging in. And if he needs more sanctions authority, he should come back to us. What he's doing, however, is taking an agreement which is being enforced, and he's burning down the house in order to try to remodel the kitchen. You don't take something that's working and destroy it in order to make some changes that are unrelated to that central deal.
What about the enforcement part of this deal, which people would say, look, there's not the access that you need. Israel itself came forward and said, look, we found documents that prove that Iran was lying about its intentions for this program in the first place going into it. Is there a way to take those concerns to change the existing deal or to somehow push back on Iran without the move the president made?
Well, the documents which Israel produced dealt with what the intentions of Iran had been. That's why we have this agreement. We have the agreement in order to make sure that there is a verifiable regime in place to ensure that there is no active nuclear weapons program inside of Iran. And that has been established. And the IAEA has access, ultimately, to any site that it wishes to gain access to in order to determine whether or not there is a violation. And if there are individual sites where they're being denied access, then they should make that public, and Democrats and Republicans in the United States will come forward in order to ensure that there is political muscle behind the demand that that occur. But that has not happened.
And finally, Senator, what happens if Iran, as it has suggested, may now pursue industrial enrichment or something along that path, even as it's apparently trying to salvage parts of this deal with Europe without the Europeans violating our own sanctions? If Iran goes down that path towards industrial enrichment, what repercussions would you expect?
Well, I think that if that's Donald Trump's goal, it's to pull out of an agreement where the Iranians have agreed that they're not going to enrich to military-grade uranium. And then after we void the deal, they then move forward on that pathway, then it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, self-created crisis, which Donald Trump, by his own actions, has created. And so the correct answer here is to stop, honor the agreement, stay in a coalition with our allies, identify problems in Syria or with the ballistic missile program, or 10 years from now, where the president might have some concern, where he believes that uranium enrichment will be less well controlled, then we should be discussing that, but that's 10 years from now. We don't have to create a crisis in the Middle East right now that could quickly just spin out of control. The Saudi Arabians could begin themselves to say that they need a nuclear weapons program if Iran heads down that pathway. And that's one thing the Middle East doesn't need. We don't need a Shiite and a Sunni bomb in that region. We should be trying to use peaceful negotiation, building on what we've already done in Iran in order to accomplish that goal.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.